Well, last week we looked at building the interface part. So now we're going to start looking at adding coding in. As we go along, we'll keep adding more and more interface items in there, and we'll see how to integrate those various elements, components with our code. This is Swift UI, user interface introduction, basics of programming in part one. Now we got data types here. Integer, number with no decimals. Double, number with decimals, specifically a 64-bit floating point number. Float is a number with decimals, 32-bit floating point number. Boolean is a Boolean value, which is true or false, 1 or 0. String is a sequence of characters, alphabetic, numbers, or special symbols. Character is a single character, and tuples is a grouping of multiple values. Talked a little bit about that last time. I wanted to review. And here's a website, Tutorials Point, and part of the categories they have there is Learn Swift. And some of this is a little bit outdated, but it gives you more information out here. Talks about an integer, float, double, and so forth. In programming, we're going to be working with things called variables, which we haven't talked about yet. And variables are stored in memory. When I say stored in memory, they're stored in your RAM, your random access memory. Those usually, if you've changed out memory, is like those memory sticks that you may put into a computer. We're not talking about hard drive. Hard drive is different. Hard drive, when you save information to it and retrieve it, it takes longer to retrieve that. So RAM is a fast memory retrieval. It is not permanent or even semi-permanent. When you shut off your power, you lose everything in RAM. Now, your hard drive is permanent, or some people might say semi-permanent, because when you shut off your computer and turn back on, then you have all access to everything on your hard drive again. Imagine if you turned off your computer and you lost everything on the hard drive each time. Well, that wouldn't be very useful. So I say some people refer to it as semi-permanent because those devices do degrade over time, and they can lose parts of their storage, kind of like an old person loses their memory. That's an old hard drive, old SSD drive can lose that. Let's see here. SSDs last around 10 years. Of course, I probably wouldn't have it that long, but at that point in time, it starts degrading. You lose information on it, so forth. Hard drive. 3 to 5 years. That's not very much. You can rely on your hard drive for 3 to 5 years on average. Doesn't mean it won't last 10 years. But again, that shows you that this stuff is not as permanent as you might think in that regard. Okay. I am just not very good with let me go back there. Okay, there's the tabs. I'm getting better at Mac, but I only teach this once a year, so my Mac knowledge needs to be refreshed. Anyway, You have two types of variables. One of them or two types we're looking at now. One of them referring to as immutable variable, cannot be changed, or sometimes called a constant. And it's represented by putting a lit there. Lit num1 equals 3. There's also one called mutable variable, and this can be changed. And you declare that by doing var and then your variable name, colon, and then your data type. And then you can set it equal to a value. This again talks about that. I don't require a book for this class because there's so much information out there. That's why I make people pay more. Here it talks about variable declaration. You see you got your var, your variable name, and you can have it equal to initial value. This one did not put the type on there. I don't know if this is necessarily great programming to do that, but yeah, you can do it. You see down here, there's a colon and then data type. Well, that's good programming practice because you're saying, hey, this is definitely an integer, like that. And then you can have equals an optional initial value. So instead of having these on two separate lines like I did here, you could have it equal to 3. But I just want to put on two separate lines for you. You see in this case, they declare a float. I'm not sure if they get any other examples. I guess that's about it. This is what I like. I like very clean examples so I can look at and just immediately get up and running on it. Here's constants. Remember I said lit defines it as a constant? So you lit and then your constant name equal to a value. And that's probably exciting stuff there. Now we have something called a state variables, and we declare them. And the state allows variables to be updated accessed within a struct. A struct is like a grouping of something. Specifically, in this case, it'll be grouping like visual elements together. The scope of the variables. My wife knows information about me. She knows my mother's name, my father's name, my mother's maiden name. She knows my social security number, knows all of that information. I think she does all the finances and handles everything. I just go off work. She's a blessing. And that's information that's specific to her. Variables are specific to whatever they're contained within. So they're not accessible from everywhere. Not everybody can access my social security number. That's specific to my household that has access to that. That's kind of the idea. It's called the scope, where things can be used, can be defined, and so forth. And to me, this is one of the most frustrating parts of working with iOS. I won't. I mean, it's not as clear cut as Android Studio. If you have these variables declared in the wrong place, then you can't refer to them. Let me see if I can create a brand new project here. Okay, let me close this one. And where's Xcode? Oh, it's still there. Just throws me how PowerPoint's right here, and Xcode's still there. You can tell by the bar up here. New project. And next, add numbers again. And remember, you should already have something here in the organization identifier. If you created that before. And Swift UI app, and Swift is what those all should be. If they're not, click next. I'm saving this in the same place, so this is fine. Let's click create. Okay, now to shut off this, first off I want to make it full screen, so I'll click the little green button here. I want to shut off this left pane, so I'm going to come up here and click this. See where my mouse is circling? Click shut that off. And I want to shut off this right pane for the time being. And I'll click resume. Let that come in. Okay, so we got hello world. You notice here we got a struct, and this is different than the struct down here. So if I declare a variable up here, I can't use it in the other struct. So it is very specific on where you can put those items. Let's get rid of that. And skip down a little bit. We're going to build this interface to add two numbers together. And this will give you the framework on which you can do most of your apps for at least the first part of this course. So you create your interface, you do your navigation view, VStack, form, section. Now you can click the plus up here in the upper right hand corner. I won't hand code these anymore. And if you scroll down, I'm looking for navigation view. I think it's up here. Maybe I already typed it. Always typed it. Well, just type it then. Navigation view. And style. Try it again. Navigation view, down arrow, then tab. There we go. You know, I think probably what's most frustrating to me on this is how the braces don't line up like I'd like them to. Okay, so within navigation view, we'll put a vertical stack. Now I know this is in the components, so I'm come up here. I suppose the navigation isn't up here though. Oh well. So choose vertical stack here. Click and drag that and put it right there. Then within the content, I want to put my form. So I've got this right here. I'll delete that. Do my plus. Navigation view. Okay, I'm just blind. Form. So drag and drop that in there. Click content here and press delete. And we'll put a section in. Section right here. So I click the plus and section. I'll click section content, press delete. Now I click my plus. And we're going to be building our interface. So I need the text. So I want to put some text before my text field where I'll get the information from the user. But in the process of this, maybe I want them to line up horizontally. So instead of a V stack, I'm going to put an H stack in here. That's yellow. Yellow. Put that in there. Click content. And now I'm going to put a text in there. So I do a plus. Text editor. Delete. Let's try it again. Text and drag and drop it in there. And so this will be my number one. So for the placeholder, that's going to be my first number that I'm putting. You see over here, it builds it. Puts number one there. And then I'm going to put the item right beside it. This will be our text field. The placeholder here, input number one, like that. Okay, so that's our first one, and I want another part down here. Again, this is what throws me, which ones lines up with where, because it is important you put it. You click there the first time, that's a section, and that's the H stack. I'm almost to the point where I'm thinking I'm going to start put like end H stack here. Here I'll put end section. These are comments because all these curly braces are really playing havoc with my mind because you got to put it in the appropriate place. And then this is, what is this one? V stack. So if it's starting to confuse you, what brace goes with what, then do this. This is navigation view. Not so hard here. You just click it and it lines up and you can see the yellow, which one. But something I was creating this last weekend, I had it so it went off the page. So I clicked down the curly brace down here and I couldn't see which one it matched up with. So that coloring is nice, but not if you can't see all the curly braces on your screen. Now I want to put the other H stack within the section. So I'm going to come here after that and put another one here. And I think it'll let us put there. I think that's one of the grouping elements. This is a lot different than the old version of Xcode. So this is brand new for me also. So I'm getting used to it. Didn't like it last week, but it's starting to grow on me. How it used to be is these elements you see right here, these components, you could click these and drag and drop them on your form. So you designed them on your form, and then you move things around on your form. Like I could click this and move it around, which was nice in a way, and I'm not sure why they went to this, but anyway, I digress. Okay, so I want another text here. Blue. There we go. And click the placeholder. This is going to be number 2. With quotes around it. Quotes around it indicates a string. And I want a text field here. Now click placeholder. And I'll say input number 2. Of course, it should be in quotations. Now, some people might indicate why put these titles at the beginning. If it says input number 1, input number 2. Well, that's a design consideration. We're not really looking at design in this class, but that's up to you. In other words, you're developing an app for somebody to use. Your goal is for them never to call you and still be a useful app. I once told that to a distance learning coordinator we had here at Cali. We were talking about courses, and I said my goal in online math courses was to develop a course where I never receive a message. I never want to hear from a student. She looked at me real weird and so forth. She said, "Well, no, we want that communication with students." And I said, "No. The idea of taking an online class is if I have to contact the instructor, I may not hear back for 24 hours, maybe 48 hours if it's a weekend or something. So it'll be a while before I'd hear back. If I'm taking an online course, I want immediate information. I don't want to wait 24 hours. 24 hours is an eternity. 48 hours is even worse. So I want the resources to where it gives me the answer right there." And so she could kind of see that, but she still liked the idea of the communication. And the communication is nice just to like pass on maybe industry knowledge and so forth. But a course should be designed to be self-contained, so it answers all your questions for you, in my opinion. Okay, now we need a button, because we're going to click a button, and then we're going to put our answer down. I'm going to come back to these values in case you're wondering. Okay, so let's do our plus. See, if it lined up everything perfectly, I'd be fine with it. It's just, there it is. And we'll come back to the action in the content. I got something wrong. Put it inside the brace for the H stack. That's why it was scooted in. Let's see. Edit, undo. Edit, undo. Okay, this is the end for the H stack. If I had done what I said I was going to do, then I would not have had to sit there and worry about that. Okay, so I want it after this H stack here. And some people maybe don't like to come over here. They realize they can just type this, type button and so forth. So that's up to you. And let's see. There's B's. Don't know my alphabet. I want it after the H stack. And let me go ahead and put a closing button, end button. And now I'm going to drop on another H stack. That's in the yellow. And H stack. Okay, and then I'll click content here, press delete. Within that, I want to put my text, blue. Screw up. Let's put anything there. Nope. Okay, so I'll put my text in here. Then underneath that, I put my text field. Click placeholder here. Put some. And I'm gonna return this to a text field. Text field is probably not the smartest place to return this to because the text field you can change, and you want them to change the actual answer. But again, we're starting out slow on these, and then we'll build as we get more programming knowledge and so forth. So this is where the answer goes. Answer is here. Okay, and you see we got our form here. Now remember, you can do a view, and which one is it? Inspectors, attributes. To bring this up, so if you want to change what something, how something looks, so forth, if you click that item over here, then you can come over here and you can change it appropriately. Some of these may have different options depending upon what it's asking for and so forth. Now here you can do padding. Now as you type different things over here, oops. As you type different things over here, you'll see it like do a dot padding here. Dot all. See, you can, it's not negative, it doesn't do anything. Padding means bring in more space from the left, from the top, from the bottom. I'll shut those off. Now if I don't like the fact that it takes up so much space. But if I come down here, once you understand the nature of these, then you can change this appropriately. Okay, there's my in button. For example, let me put that back up. Okay, so I got my button chose. I click the padding. You see there's an add modifier here too, which gives us a lot more different options. But what I want to show here is see how it does the dot. So if I come down here and type dot, it'll pop up with all the different things that I could program. Some of these I could probably guess. See, here's a button style. Now, whether I can actually choose the appropriate style would be questionable. I'd have to Google it probably. But all the different things you can pick about it. Hidden, I'm assuming that's so you can't see it. Okay, enough about that. Now, all these have this, by the way. You notice that it's after the brace. And I didn't put that in the right one. The in button should go right here. It may seem weird if you've had other programming, because you know that that the brace is the end or whatever. Let me grab a drink here. Now, navigation view. Here's navigation view. Dot. Remember navigation title? Summing numbers. So you can put a navigation title on there. Why it doesn't appear? I probably got something wrong. Missing something. Maybe it should go before it. Yeah, I probably got the wrong location if I had to guess. Dot navigation title. There it is. Remember how I told you the most frustrating part will be putting it in the right location? You know, I was talking about variables and so forth. But the navigation title here should go inside, I guess, where our button, the dot padding, went after the closing brace. So. Okay, so we create our interface. Create state variables right below the main structure. It's right below struct content view. So content view. We want snum1. Okay, at state. snum1. snum1. And guess I set them equal to this. I don't give a type there. I don't say string. But I guess well, it's optional. But I guess the equals the string would tell it what data type it was. So at state var snum2 is equal to that. And our other one was ssum. Like that. Now, by placing these at the appropriate location, like right here, I'm going to be able to access them directly within my code here. And we're going to see how. Okay. We created text fields already, but now we want to bind them to the state variables. Now notice up here I declare it as snum1. But when I bind it under the text, for the text field, I have to do a $sign snum1. Okay, so I'm going to bind this. Go into your text, and I'll press delete, get rid of that, and I have to do a $sign snum1. This one I'll click, press delete, and $sign snum2. And this one I'll click, and delete, and $sign ssum. So again, by putting the state on here, that's what allows us to access those in that manner. It'll actually let us access it anywhere in a struct. Now under the button, we're going to have an action part. And under the action, we're going to put some code. Okay, so let me go ahead and change this. I think I have to type text. Some. No, that's not it. Oh, we got the right code there. Let's see if that would do it. Nah, still got something wrong. Oh well, I'll come back to that. So I've temporarily forgotten. I think maybe it's a dot. Not there. I'll look up here in a minute. Anyway, the action. Now notice I put these on separate lines just to try to keep it a little cleaner. So for my action, I can put that down here. I'll put my braces down like that. And enter there, delete that. Okay, so button, beginning parentheses, action, and oh, I needed a brace there. Okay, so we'll put a brace here. Now here's where we're going to put our code. Var num1, num2, sum, :int. So I declare those as integers. So variable sum1, sum, or num1, num2, and sum are :int. Wish I could get rid of this. I don't know how to get rid of that. This piece right here. Or one of these options. Oh well. Okay, so after I declare those, I need to make the connection between those and my state variables. So I'm going to say num1 equals to int, and then my state variable was s num1, and then I put a semicolon there. Num2 is equal to int s num2 $, or exclamation, and then my sum is going to equal to num1 plus num2. Now let's talk about these. Drink. Oh, it is text. I just had the wrong format. Okay. Of course, this declares variables of type integer. This snum1 is actually a string. So the int is it's referred to as casting, changing the type. And here, that's necessary to unwrap it. Doesn't make much sense to me, but you have to have that there for it to work. Unwrapping it refers to, let me bring it up here. I'll read off the official definition. Not official, but swift unwrapping. I'm so used to using the so used to using the casting, and it just makes sense. So why would you want to do this? If you define a variable as optional, then to get the string from this variable, you have to unwrap it. And basically, this unwrap just um, means you need to get the value out of it. So that's what allows you to do that. If you forget it, which you will, I forgot it many times, the times I've taught this before, it'll tell you. So you can't really screw it up. Then you come here and it says, hey, you need to unwrap this. So, and then you can, except I can't see all my options. There it is. That puts unwrap there. Now we need to write this back out to the the sum down here. And just like what we saw before there, we're going to refer to S sum. We don't have to do the unwrap here. Strange enough to go in that direction. But this is the part that will convert this to a string. So you have your quotes around it, which quotes indicate a string, and then the slash, and then the parentheses are on the sum. This retrieves the value of sum and places it in this position in a string. So S sum is equal to, which slash? That one? On one. And then sum. And let me think. Anything else? Oh, I gotta have the label on here. What do you separate this with? Commas. Commas. Label. This is what I was drawing a blank on. Add. Something's missing. Okay. Beginning parentheses, action, beginning parentheses, action, braces, comma, no colon on my label. There we go. Braces. Braces and ending parentheses. And I don't know what that is, but I'll delete it. So this one would be, I'll put it after the comma. This is the end action. This one is the end label. Except for didn't update. I'll resume. Fail to build. Okay. I hate braces. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Let's see. Struct body. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know what that one goes with. I think I got an extra one. Let me get rid of it. Either that or I'm missing one. There, I fixed it. Somehow I got braces in there. This is why I think this is crucial to putting these in here. Other than that, you're just guessing whether to put it there or not. Okay, let's try again. If it doesn't build, if you scroll down, you probably got some braces that shouldn't be there. Anyway, I'll quit whining. Unless you got cheese to go with it. Okay, what else here? Guess that was a hit on that. Here's how you can change how the button looks. I'm not gonna actually put that in there. I'll upload this PowerPoint. But you put text, but with the text. To adjust the frame, you do a dot frame, and you can do the width for width, height for height, alignment, so forth. Background you can change, foreground color, you can change the corner radius. Okay, so I think all the code's there. Let's run this. There we go. Click here. 3, click here, 4, click that, and add them together. Okay, now let's change this. I'll stop running that. Let's change this to calculate force. We're going to be bringing in force equals mass. So S mass for string mass. We're going to be bringing acceleration. Force equals mass times acceleration, I think. Acceleration. And we're going to be calculating force, so I'm going to have S force. Down here, I'm going to say number 1, I'm going to say mass. I'm going to say input mass. And our state variable is now called S mass. This is going to be acceleration. Input acceleration. S acceleration. Okay, got our button. We'll come back to the code. Instead of saying add, I'll say calculate. Calculate. Then down here, I'll say the answer is force. And the answer is here, text. This should be S force. Okay, so now to calculate this, we're going to declare mass, acceleration, and force. Now they won't be integers. Remember over here in our tutorials point, we had our data type somewhere. These are what you can use. If you're anticipating a really big number, you can use double. There's also float. What am I going to use? Double, I guess. Now here, I'm going to say my mass equals. Now instead of this being int for the casting, I'll make it double. And this will be S mass. This one, acceleration. Acceleration. If you do a tab for the code completion instead of trying to type it out, you'll find that things go smoother. And double. And this is going to be S acceleration. Tab for code completion. So then mass, or force, Force is equal to mass times acceleration. And then down here, S force is equal to, and again, by putting a slash and then parentheses around your variable, you can tell it what value to put in there. So I'll tell it to put force in there, like that. And I got something wrong. S force. Must have considered. Oh, well, that's picky. Space there. Okay. So now if I run this, let me rebuild this first. Rebuilding it tells you whether you have any code errors. So that extra brace I had down there at the bottom, you would find that out if you built it before you tried to run it. Okay, so let's run it in the simulator. Okay, mass, I put 3 in here, 4 in here, calculate. And I'll give it to us. Now, this is actually something I plan to, at some point this semester, build. I plan to build an app to help me in my teaching. Because I teach a Introduction to Digital Design class, and my eventual goal is that I have some of the testing in a separate package called My Open Math, where everybody has different problems when it comes to the testing for the first test. And the testing is converting from like hex to decimal, or decimal to hex, or octal, binary. And I don't want to sit there and do the work myself. So I want to write a program that will do that conversion for me. Now, I know that I can find an app out there real easy that already exists, but the idea is that I write my own so I have it and I can run it. So again, coming up with something useful that you can use to simplify your life is goal of programming. Goal of programming is not to make your life harder, it's supposed to make your life easier. Is there any questions on that application? Okay, so the assignment, I'll put two applications out there for you to do. And some of you know where I'm headed with this. Formula. If you search Google site ****edu, physics formula PDF, and you can choose any one of these. If you don't like physics, put business formula, put chemistry formula, whatever in there, geometry formula. And I want you to program something here. Now, don't do anything complex. Don't try to put sine and cosine in there. We haven't covered how to do sine and cosine yet. But nice easy one here would be velocity here. Velocity is equal to r times whatever symbol that is. We'll say W. It's not. It's a Greek symbol. This one, force, that's a mass times acceleration. That's what we just did. Here's AC. R times W squared. Well, remember W squared is W times W. So you could program it as R times W times W. So I want you to pick two physics formulas to program in your application. Well, you have two separate applications. And each one will program a different and calculate a different physics formula. Or business or whatever formula. Questions on what I'm looking for there? And you'll zip up your folder like before and upload that. So that'll be how you turn it in. Well, we'll go ahead and stop there. Stop recording.